Yo, what's going on, guys? Chris Bonner here, Overtime Athletes. So for today's video, what I want to go over with you guys is more along the lines of progressions and how we should progress particular movements to consistently have an athlete adapt and get better and perform better, get stronger, and overall perform better for that movement. So what we want to go over today is rowing, right? We do a lot of pressing. I see a lot of that out there. One that I feel is neglected is a little bit more horizontal pulling, which is your rowing. And what I want to do is kind of go over from the beginning of an off season to the end of off season, how I would typically progress. Now, to initially start off will be also the most debatable. And when it comes to that, the reason why I say that is because you can start in different places depending on the athlete. Now for me, I like to start off with a dumbbell or a barbell bent over row. The reason being is when you do that, instead of going from a fixated position like a cable row or incline, what happens is you're building up your overall work capacity. By building up your overall work capacity, what I mean by that is by going from a stance where you're tipped over and you're not supported by a cable or an incline bench, you're having to use overall more muscle, which overall creates more total work for the athlete. And in the beginning of an off season, the reason why I like that is because I want to build up their work capacity. I want to build up their conditioning within the workout, make the movements a little bit more difficult, reduce the rest period so that we can produce better quality reps later, and they're not fatigued when I want to go more max effort sprints, jumps, and max effort lifts. So the first one we'll do is kind of like a dumbbell bent over row, hips back, pull to the armpit, boom, just like that. You could do the same thing with a barbell. And like I said, it's just overall total work. Now, that being said, if I have a younger athlete and he doesn't really have the strength required, either I'll go really light with the weights or I'll go from a fixated position where I'm doing a cable row, or what I'll show you guys next in my progression, which is an incline row. So now that we've established work, we can really focus more on strength. I'll go from an incline row where I'm really focused on that horizontal pull. So I'll go here, go from here. Now my chest is supported, so I'm basically isolated, and I want to elevate that strength as much as possible. So from here, I'll really focus on going up in numbers, driving the elbows back, and pulling. The big thing anytime you're pulling is you want to focus on driving the elbows back and not pulling it to your armpit. From this next one, what I would do is now I want to get and start to convert back to, still focus on strength, but take a little bit out of it. So what I'll do is I'll go to a one arm row. And what you'll see here is there's two variations. You guys can either do them from a setting where you're a little bit more fixated, right? My knees here, I have a little bit more support in this position and I'm driving it back. And I'll really focus on driving the weight up. Now, if I want to progress that, the way I would do that is I would have the athlete take his knee off, and essentially I can go from a stagger stance where it's a little more support, or if I want to work a little more integration or anti-rotation of the torso, I'll have him plant his feet back, but even, and I'll have him pull from this position while maintaining a flat back and not rotating at the torso, right? And then finally, after we've built that up, the final progression to that row will be an integration, right? So we want to then integrate this with other movements. I want to integrate this with my lower body, and I want to integrate it with maybe some kind of a twist. The way that I'll do that is basically essentially a row with a twist. So I'll just show you a cable row with a twist. Toe goes forward, this back leg 90 degrees. From here, reaching, protracting the scap, then driving off this front foot into my back foot as I pull. So now not only am I utilizing my lower body to shift, I'm utilizing my torso to shift that energy, right? So I can really go up in weight here if the technique is good. So I'm rotating slightly here, and then I'm driving the elbow back. Just like that. So these are variations. Obviously there's a lot more, there's a lot more variations to rows, but I just wanted to show you kind of a mindset of how we take something from building up work capacity in a simple form, translating it, isolating it, elevating it with strength, transferring it over to a little bit more dynamic where we're maybe one arm or feet off, making it a little bit tougher, utilizing the torso a little bit more, and then completely integrating it with the lower and the torso or the trunk so that you guys can continue to progress your athletes in performance. I hope that helps. I'll see you guys next time.